Alright, so here we're going to look at this question, and the question here is, what mass of water is formed from the combustion of 40 grams of ethene in air? What mass of water is formed from the combustion of 40 grams of ethene in air? Given that the relative atomic mass of carbon is 12, the relative atomic mass of hydrogen is 1, and that of oxygen is 16. So the first thing that you would want to do here is to write an equation, a balanced chemical equation for the combustion reaction of ethene. All right, so combustion reaction is simply reaction with oxygen. All right, it's a reaction whereby a substance burns in oxygen. So here we're looking at ethene. So we're looking at the combustion of ethene. All right, so ethene is, the chemical formula for ethene is C2H4. All right, this is ethene. So when ethene reacts with oxygen, O2, what will be formed? When ethene burns in oxygen, water and carbon dioxide is formed. Water and carbon dioxide is formed. All right, water is H2O, carbon dioxide is CO2. So the next thing is now to balance this equation. So we have 2 carbon here. There is only 1 carbon here, so I will put 2 here to make the equation balanced. We have 4 hydrogen here. We have just 2 hydrogen here, so I'll put 2 here to make the equation balanced. We have 2 oxygen here. How many oxygen do we have here? We have 2 oxygen here because this 2 is affecting everything here. So we have 2 oxygen here. 2 times this 2 will give us 4. All right. So we have 4 oxygen here, we have 2 oxygen here. That makes a total of 6 oxygen. All right. So we have just 2 oxygen here. So what will I do to make the amount of oxygen here equal to 6? So what I need to do is to put 3 here. 3 times 2 will give me what? 6. So I have 6 oxygen here, and I have 6 oxygen here in total. 2 here, 4 here, making it 6 in total. Alright, so with this, the equation is balanced. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is to calculate the mass of ethene that will give this mass of what? Of water. So first of all, I'm going to calculate the relative atomic mass of this ethene. So I have C2H4. Alright, so the ROMM of C2H4 will be equal to, the relative atomic mass of carbon is what? 12. So that's 12 times the number of atoms of carbon that I have here, 2, plus hydrogen is what? 1. The relative atomic mass of hydrogen is 1 times the 4 atoms of hydrogen that I have here. All right. So 12 times 2 will give me 24, plus 1 times 4 will give me 4. So that is equal to what? 28 what? 28 grams. All right. So the mass of ethene here is what? 28 grams. So 28 grams of ethene C2H4 would give me how many grams of water? So I have 2 molecules of water here, 2H2O. So I'm going to calculate the relative molecular mass of this water. All right. So the ROMM of 2 molecules of water will be equal to 2, which is this 2, times the relative atomic mass of hydrogen is what? Is 1, times the 2 atoms of hydrogen that I have there, plus the relative atomic mass of oxygen is what? 16, bracket close. So this will be 2, open bracket. 1 times 2 will give me 2. 2 plus 16 will give me what? 18. So 2 times 18 will be equal to, 2 times 18 will be equal to 36 grams. All right. So 28 grams of ethene will give us what? 36 grams of what? Of water, of H2O. All right. The question is, what mass of water is formed from the combustion of 40 grams of ethene in air? So if 28 grams of ethene gave us 36 grams of water. Then 40 grams of ethene, C2H4, would give us 40 times 36 divided by 28 grams of what? Of water. So what would this be? So this will be 40 times 36. All right. 40 times 36 equal to divided by 28. Divided by this 28, and that will be equal to 51.4. So that is equal to what? 51.4 grams of water. This is our answer. All right. So 40 grams of ethene will give us 51.4 grams of what? Of water. So the first thing that you do here in this question is to first of all write out a balanced equation, which I've shown already. All right. And then calculate the mass of ethene here. The mass of ethene here, when we calculated it, we got what? 28. So 28 grams of ethene gave us 36 grams of water. All right. We also calculated this mass of water, these 2 molecules of water, and we got what? 36 grams from here. All right. 2 times 18, that will give us 36. So we got 36 grams of water. So if 28 grams of ethene gave us 36 grams of water, then 40 grams of ethene will be equal to 40 times 36 divided by 28, and that will give us what? 51.4 grams of water. All right. So in other words, you are kind of cross multiplying here. So if 28 grams of ethene is equal to 36 grams of water, then 40 grams of ethene will be equal to 40 times 36 divided by 28, and that is what we wrote here. 40 times 36 divided by 28 grams of water, and that will give us 51.4 grams of water.